Hello guys, Joan here. I'm gonna do a video cleaning the Ruger Old Army. Just gotta move a couple of things. So, I need to get me some gunsmithing screwdrivers. I don't have any, but this one particular screwdriver takes everything apart. So, the first thing you do is loosen this screw. That's what keeps the ramrod and cylinder pin in. Just give it a little twist. This pulls right out. And unlike the Remington, this actually comes apart very easily. There's no screws. I was shooting this with 777 in it earlier, so I can clean it in the house. If I was shooting real black powder, I would do it outside, or otherwise my mother would kill me. Got a tub of warm soapy water over there. Next, you have cocked the cylinder, and it rotates right out, just like on a Remington. Look how thick the cylinder walls is on this thing. It's built like a tank. See if I can. I'm just gonna let it soak in there while I'm taking it apart. Okay, so the next thing is to remove the grip screw. I'm going to show you guys something. I was shooting some really heavy loads in it because the Ruger Old Army can do that with 777, but the grips actually ripped in the back. So lighten the load down a little bit. I want to get me some either false ivory or staghorn grips for it. This revolver is my baby. And you have to just kind of wiggle it free. I'm just going to set those over here. Next thing is important, and I've got to go get it because I left it in the other room. Okay, so the next thing you do, I couldn't find my little retainer pin, so I'm going to use this little small Allen wrench I got. If it'll work. But the next thing you do is pull your hammer all the way back. There's a hole at the end of this main spring. You put a pin in it. Next thing you would do is start loosening the 5 screws to hold the grip to the frame. It's a lot like a Colt single action Army from this point, or 51 Navy, and you want to be really careful to remember where you put these screws, what screw goes in which hole. And that Allen wrench is not going to work. And I can see why. I've got to find the pen I was using. Okay, I found it. So you put your pen in the little hole right here. And now you start to loosen these screws up. I'll show you how I do it. Yeah, it may not be how Buck down the street does it. That's how I do it. I go Thursday to talk to my neurosurgeon about surgical options for this occipital neuralgia. It's been giving me headaches real bad and screws around in my throat, makes me hoarse. Some people said, I hate to say this about myself, but some people say I sound like Herbert the pervert. Yeah, screw you too. Anyway, should help fix that if they can surgically fix it. Anyway, I take my top two screws and I put on top of my clothes. Then I put the bottom three screws down here toward the bottom. And once I get the actual frame off, I just put them right back into the frame. So I'm actually ready to clean it up. This particular screw does not like to come out. I have to work with it. I don't know if this video will be as long as the Springfield video, but it takes a while. To get them all undone. Probably wouldn't take as long if I had better screwdrivers. I'm trying not to screw my screws up. That's never good, stripping your screws. Loosen this one up. Another thing is pressure. On the screws. Well, I'm telling you guys that it takes it apart, I swear. Looks like I'll have to get a different screwdriver. And it will pop off. Okay, so the next thing you do is you take your spring out. Well, you spring out. There's two two springs right here. One is right here, this little plunger comes right out. Then you push up and sideways, and that'll just drop right out. And basically what I do is just I put the bottom screws back in. That way I can keep all the what's what top screws back in. And I will gently just place that down in the water. Oh yeah, there's a little bitty spring. Might have to turn the light on. My lighting's not the best in the world. Right here at the back. You don't want to lose it. It's your trigger pull spring right here. And it just slips right out the back of the frame of this third hole. I'll just set it up here, so all I gotta really do is that, and it's clean. Okay, next step is to undo your hammer, retainer, screw. Pull your hammer out, and it has your pawl on it. And there's a little screw, a little plunger pin right up in here. But I'm not going to take it out because I don't have a punch small enough for that. I'm just going to drop it down in the water. Next step is to unscrew your trigger. And again, I just put the screw right back down into the trigger. I forgot I gotta put this in my hammer, this hammer retainer screw. I know, I'm fat. I can't help it. Alright. Next is, I cannot for the life of me remember the technical name for it, but it's the little claw or pawl thingy that rotates the cylinder when you cock the hammer. Gotta take its retainer pin out. It's a lot like a Colt single action the way it's screwed in, but it's completely and utterly different inside this gun. And I'm telling you, every gun has a pain in the ass to it. This part's the pain in the ass to this one. Give it a little encouragement to come out. Little paw things are there. You take your finger, press up on it, and there's the spring in here. Let me show you. This is the booger. Is the spring right up in here. It's not a flat spring, it's a coil spring. It's really small. And if it pops out, good chance you can lose it. See? And I'll show you in a little bit why I call it the bugger. You want to keep all that together, clean it separately. I probably won't let you sit through the whole cleaning process. Don't want to bore you too much. But, and that's the little thingamajiggy I've been talking about, I can't remember the name of. And now, what I'm going to do, you see I got all these parts in here soaking. 777 is made of warm water. There is some Dawn dish soap in this though. You want to make a little bit of room. You want to put it upside down really. You don't really much want the water getting all in here because it's kind of hard to dry it out. I'm going to set my barrel in here too and just let it soak a minute. While it's soaking, I just kind of chat. So, you know, well, I guess I can clean a few of these parts. The gun started its life in 1972. Ruger wanted to construct the strongest ball and cap, best timing, best working ball and cap revolver right off the market. And I think they did it. And basically, to put it short, not to bore you guys to death with it, they basically took a old Ruger Black Hawk and put a percussion, made a percussion cylinder on it. It's fairly much identical to the old Black Hawks from the 50s and early 60s. It's really, really strong. They built, the screws come out. Oh well, I gotta clean them individually anyway. I'll do that. I'll go ahead and do it for this because it don't take much to clean the grip frame. In a minute I'll stop the video and I'll catch y'all up when I'm putting it back together. I hope everybody knows how to wipe a few gun parts off and oil them. Not, I don't know, I'm not going to be mean. I got too much audience. So anyway, the gun took some design from the 1858 Remington. It looks really similar and functions similar, but the biggest change of all, other than it being made almost indestructible, is these coil springs instead of flat springs, which adds a whole new dimension to this. Also the cleaning, because you have to get you a brush and go in there and get between the coils. It's not just simple wipe down. Like, that's one of the kinds of it to me. It's not just a simple wipe down. but it adds strength. These ain't gonna break under normal use. And talking about strength, it's built on the, if I remember right, the old 44 Magnum Black Hawk frame. And when they were testing this gun, the regular old Army for pressures, they actually filled the chambers full of bullseye smokeless powder. And when they shot it, the gun didn't blow up. That's pretty freaking amazing. Any other ball and cap revolver would have disintegrated. So, yes, personally, I do not mind shooting heavy 777 loads in this revolver, as long as you don't have a air gap. There's not enough 777 in a can to blow this thing up. Well, maybe in a whole can, but you get my job. It's not going to. 50 grains of 777's not going to hurt it. I just put it that way. However, I'll show y'all my specialized cleaning apparatus. And guys, you can get these from your girlfriends and wives. It's just a mascara brush, and I'll show you what I use it for. To get into the little screw holes and stuff. Just kind of stroke it in there, pump it through. Anyway, it's pretty much wiped down in oil from this point, especially with 777. There's no real special. You can buy $15, $20 products to oil it down, and to clean it and stuff. That's really not necessary. Just warm soapy water, it does the trick. So I'm going to finish wiping all this down and drying and cleaning it up. Then I'll show you how to reassemble it. Okay, time to start reassembling everything. I'll get it all dried out. Not as dry as I'm gonna get it by hand anyway. So now we're gonna oil it a little bit. And I'm just gonna use a little 3-in-1. I prefer Ballistol, but I don't have any right now. There's a thing about oiling guns, black powder guns, regular guns, that probably some of you are not going to agree with me on. That's fine. But you don't have to, I don't know, make a new oil rag a little. Yes, I keep a Bowie knife in my drawer. May not always be loaded, but I do have a nice rusty Bowie knife. So, what I was trying to say about oiling guns, it doesn't take a lot of oil. Just a few drops. Just give it a nice little, rub it down, give it a nice little sheen. So you gotta understand, when they built these guns and put them together at the factory, they done it dry. So a lot of oil is just gonna gum it up eventually, especially black powder. Use my little specialized cleaning apparatus to get down in the hard to reach spots. But yeah, if you glop it down with oil, it's just gonna build up dirt. May protect it from the rust, but build up dirt and goo and all that nasty stuff, and just eventually bind your gun up, which is never any fun. Just take some drop or two on your board, brush it. You don't have to just load the gun down with oil and just stick it in there and pump it in a few times. I know that looks so wrong. But if you over oil, it can cause problems. Never over oil your gun. I want to show you something. This is going to, I do put a little thicker stuff on my cylinder pin. I use my homemade bullet lube. It just seems like it keeps it rotating longer. I'll set that aside right now. Trying to oil little nifty parts. Of course, there's something to be said about the grip frame. It's made out of aluminum, so it's not gonna rust over. Same with your springs. Just take your little light oil. Trigger and all that. Definitely don't want your springs getting gunked up. Okay, I'll show y'all my next step, then I'll start assembling this bad girl. Well, first, since I'm not going to load it right now. And another thing, if you can, take your nipples out, clean them. I can't on this particular cylinder because somehow or another they got stripped really bad and my wrench don't fit it, so I forgot to tell y'all this step. After I've soaked it and stuff, I take this homemade nipple pick and just kind of pick them a little bit. And you can see these are clean. You can see right through it. Alright, let's begin assembly. First, you gotta do the booger part. Some of my screws get mixed up. exactly what I was telling y'all not to do. Oh, another one. I'll just kind of put everything that goes together next to each other and assemble it that way. But yeah, so next thing to start assembly, if I can find the part, so what happens when you're not paying attention, is this little thing here that I can't ever remember the name of. Or the little light coat of oil on it. And goes in like this. This little part here is like grabs your cylinder and rotates it. You put it in that little slot, the longer slot right there. Take your retainer pin. I'm going to show y'all something else I do real quick. I know this video's taking forever. I apologize. I like to share things. I take a little bit of my bullet lube and put on the screws. Seems like it keeps it from rusting and all that good stuff. And you have to kind of wiggle this in, not all the way, just to a point. So where there we go. Now my heart monitor's starting to die on me. I'll just switch batteries here in a minute. But back it out enough to, that way you're not all the way through, because we got to fit that spring in there. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's a little hole right here, and just under it, just under that hole, there's a little indentation, and that's the booger, because you gotta fit that spring under pressure while keeping everything lined up. The spring goes in like this, it's got a long claw and a short hand. Put the short hand down over the little paw thing. And this is where needle nose pliers could come in. I don't know why I keep forgetting to bring needle nose pliers in here. I'm gonna get this in started, but then I'm gonna go change this heart monitor battery out. Okay, got it started. Gonna go switch this battery out. My hands are greasy. Alright, I'm back. I'm gonna try to get the spring down there as a wood and grabs it better than anything else on this table. I'll give that a try. If I came on doing it on camera, I'll save battery. I'll cut the camera off, Because y'all get the idea, I gotta get this spring seated in this hole down here. This little divot inside. Did it last night with a finger. A finger. Problem is my fingers are just a little fat for this. See if I can. Almost. This is why you want to shut your ruler up tight and just wipe it down as much as you can, but avoid build stripping it if you can. So this gets annoying. There we go. Got it in there. Alright, tighten your, well, tighten the pivot screw down. The next thing we do is the trigger. It's pretty self-explanatory. A little lead on screw head. Line it up. Sometimes I want to be a pain in the butt too. You guys notice I'm not very good at lining screws up with holes. Tighten that down. Next thing you do is assemble your hand and pole. Your hammer and pole. I'll rub a little lid on that, and I did forget to wipe this down with just, like I said, a light coating of oil. Nothing too heavy. And the pole goes on the smooth side, not this side, the smooth side, like this. And you just slide it right in here behind the trigger, like that. Line it up. Insert the hammer screw. Tighten it down. We're about 3/4 of the way finished now. Now we're getting to this part. Just like when I was taking it apart, I'm going to put the tall screw, the bottom screws down here. Where is the top screws? I need to get me a mat. That would work better than this. get them out of the... I'm sorry, I'm a little fumbly. I know what I'm doing. Alright, I got everything in a more orderly fashion. It's better just to keep order with it. So, I start assembling the frame back together. The grip frame. There's the trigger, plunger. And put this on white. Roll it in some oil. It's right under here. There's a little channel right there. It's right in there. This can get a little tricky too. Then you also have the plunger spring for the pole. And it goes in a little recess right here. Little third hole. Slide it right down in here. That. And this is where it gets tricky. Because you have to hold this pan plunger back. Then press that one down over the... Take your top screw. Put a little lube on it. I always start on the right side. I don't know why. It's not necessary. Just don't know. An OCD thing, maybe. Okay, because it's the side, it's directly over the small. Nope. Back up and punt. As my friend Jeff would say. Back up and punt. And then I do this every single time. I don't know why. Just bear with me. Pull that back off real easy. Skip a step. Remember this thing? The mainspring? You gotta put it in. It goes like this. Up, facing up. Go in like this through the side. And it sits on this part here. Do not take the pin out yet. Now we do all that I just described. And try not to push that out too. And there we go. Now I put the top screw in on the right side. Well, if I was facing away from me, it'd be my left side. From here on out, it's pretty much easy peasy. And your 5 screws. I forgot to put the lube on that one, but I can do it at the head of the screw. That'll be okay too. You can also buy Gorilla grease or frog lube. and put on your screws too. I mean, this ain't a necessary thing to do to your screws, but I do it. It just seems like it makes everything much easier. And I have ballistol made in with this lube, so it does help protect the screws from rust and all that. Occipital neuralgia starting to get to my throat. What it does is cause spasms around my throat, and in return causes me to sound hoarse. The nerve itself is in the back of my neck and goes up the back of my head. That's why it gives me such bad headaches. But it also affects the front of my throat, front of my neck as well.